Jim Wallace, Executive Director of Goal here. Just thought I'd give you a quick update on what is happening with the current goings-on in the State House regarding the impending anti-Second Amendment legislation. First, I'd like to take a second to thank everyone who's been part of this historic fight. In my 23 years at Goal, I have never witnessed the lies, deceit, and rules violations that the Massachusetts House gleefully demonstrated in the last year. It is unconscionable what they did and how they did it. Any elected official that took part in this grotesque attack on our civil rights should be ashamed to even show their face in public. For those few House members who stood tall and refused to support Speaker Mariano's Marxist-like maneuvers, you certainly have earned the gratitude of the Commonwealth's citizens. Now on to the Senate. All of you should be aware by now the Senate refused to follow the House's lead, not only because of the bill's content, but also how it was forced through without an honest and deliberative process. We are being told that we can expect some sort of language by the end of January. What that language will be, nobody seems to know. The Goal staff has already had several meetings with different senators. Depending upon who you talk to, there seems to be a variety of opinions on what will be coming. One consistent message we are getting is that the Senate is not happy with the Speaker and the mess he made. A few common topics that come up are so-called ghost guns and live fire mandates. No one ever seems to be able to tell us what a ghost gun actually is, and maybe that's why they call it a ghost gun. Goal has offered legislative language on this phantom effort that strictly goes after prohibited persons in possession of gun parts, illegally building guns, and potentially trafficking them. We have asked everyone we have spoken to, is there a problem with so-called ghost guns within the community that Goal represents? The answer is always no. On more than one occasion, we have been told that it is just the criminal element they are worried about. So what's the whole purpose of this effort? As for live fire, we have constantly reminded them that this is a solution without a problem. Gun owners in Massachusetts have an extraordinary safety record. So why add more hurdles to exercising our civil rights? Like the ghost guns issue, we ask senators, what problem exists that live fire mandates are supposed to solve? And the response is the same. There isn't one. It just makes sense. I do find it incredibly ironic, though, that the very people who hate us want us to be better shooters. Good for them. On sort of a different note, last month, the Goal staff testified at an actual legitimate hearing before the Joint Committee on Public Safety. Imagine that, holding a legitimate hearing. It wasn't well attended, as most people found that a hearing at this point is kind of sort of ridiculous. We decided to take advantage of the hearing to educate the attending legislators on a host of matters they should be paying attention to. Without a doubt, it was a worthwhile effort. After Carrie Ann, Mike, and myself got our customary 3 minutes, each of us to talk about Goal's legislation, several of the committee members had questions on a host of topics. In all, I think we spent 47 minutes providing accurate data and information. The entire video is actually up on the Goal website, and believe me, it's worth a watch if you've got the time. Most of the time was responding to inquiries about existing crime-fighting tools that have gone unused for nearly a decade. For instance, in 2014, Goal's language was supposed to create a criminal firearms and trafficking division of the state police. Purpose of the unit was to assist the Attorney General and local district attorney offices in prosecuting high-level crime involving guns. The unit was also supposed to gather data on a variety of issues involved in those crimes. Currently, the unit and the data does not exist. Several of the legislators expressed concern that the tools were already available, but just simply weren't being used or implemented. For the most part, engagement was professional and polite. That is, until the last committee member decided to take a different approach. During our testimony, We spoke quite a lot about the state's own data that proves gun control laws here have been an abject failure. I pointed to their own data set from the Department of Public Health that showed gun-related homicides have actually increased by 111% in the Commonwealth since the 1998 laws. Representative Paulino of Lawrence decided to accuse us of, quote, manipulating the data to promote our own objectives. I let him continue his unprofessional rant for a few minutes, hoping there might actually be a question. When it was obvious that he was only wanted to grandstand, I interrupted him. I was not going to sit back and have my staff attacked on a platform of lies. Chairman Gonzalez, chairing the meeting, actually had to gavel him down and asked him to provide a question without his opinions. Apparently he couldn't help himself because he continued to make accusations to the point I had to correct him again. The exchange is worth a watch if you have the time, and it's posted on our website. So where does this all leave us now? The Massachusetts Senate is deliberating behind closed doors as to what their bill will look like. This is your chance to find out what their schedule is and go talk to them about your concerns with the current laws and what might be added to them. Gather a few friends together and make a point to go visit them. The fight is not over. Regardless of the unconstitutional efforts by the House, you all made a tremendous effort that brought a lot of public attention to what was taking place. That did not go unnoticed by the Senate. Can you continue to do what you can to bring attention to this historic political crime? Thank you for all of you done to protect our freedom, and I am sure we will have more news soon.